Hi guys, Jack here, playing Ozymandias again, and we're on Fertile Crescent playing the Canaanites, which are very hard. So they're the hardest civ on the map. I've beat it actually with all the other civs, and this one was the last one left to me. I tried a few times, but not too hard, and this time I thought it out a bit, and I think I have a good strategy for winning. So first up, we're starting with 20 science, so all you can really go for is flags. So I buy two mountain flags, and then I think just another one, because really all you get for this Canaanite start is mountains and desert. Now, you have to be careful because deserts are super expensive to research. I think like most of their techs are 100 cost. We have a discount for research, so it's only 62. Whereas like some of the mountain techs are 25, river has some 20. So they're really expensive. So you can't just go straight for deserts because you won't be able to buy any yields from them. And then you'll have these worthless techs, you won't expand, and you'll get gobbled up by a better empire. So my plan first off, of course, is to take all of the good techs right off the bat. I get the river, I get the grasslands, because those start with, a food yield, which is helpful. I'm also going for some mountains because mountains have lots of money in them, which is useful. And then my plan is to predominantly do a couple yield upgrades for mountains, just because they can be cheap and get some good yields from that. And then once I get just enough critical mass to save up some money, then go for deserts, and then just go crazy expanding across the desert and try to get as much as I can before Babylon can get there. Now, Fertile Crescent is a pretty interesting map because if you play as Babylon or Assyria, you're almost guaranteed to win. Assyria is kind of tucked away up in the north. They got lots of streams. You have a strong military start, and you can just absolutely slam into the Babylon and, take a lot of territory. And then same for the light or blue in the top left. If you're Babylon, you start with so much science and your techs are so cheap to research, you just go crazy along with all those rivers and you can get really powerful. Canaanites don't really have anything going for them. Their bonus is like food's a little bit cheaper. I think your cities are a little cheaper to grow, but then some important techs cost more. So really your bonuses, are kind of a negative compared to the other ones. So really what you have to do is play really well and play smart. And you probably have to get a little bit lucky. So as you can see, I've just been expanding. I got lots of mountains now. Almost all the ones in the south. There's a few to the east that I still need to grab, and then I'm grabbing a few deserts, and I was lucky enough to get the desert tech that gives me, the quest that gives me double movement in deserts, and then I'm also going to be able to get a yield off of another quest. And remember how I said that the desert techs are super expensive, so that's really helpful. We've also been lucky because Canaanites are kind of tucked away. As long as you don't get into a tussle with blue in the north there, which I'm deliberately avoiding. I'm not really taking any tiles up there because I just don't really care about them. And we should be peaceful. So that means I can just fully focus on my eco, getting good research going, lots of food, and trying to grab desert tiles. You can see nobody else has bothered to go into the desert yet. Babylon has all the streams to go for. Now it's doing the plains. And there you go, there's the desert quest I was talking about that has movement. Yeah. Anyways, I also get a nice tech here for building a city on the hills. So I'm able to build a city 5 tiles away, which completes 2 quests. One, the city on the hill for a yield tech, giving me the 3rd money yield, which is very useful. And because it's 5 places away from my other city, it gets a bonus population. So we start with 3 pop in that city rather than 2. Which is always good for science and stuff like that. You also get to build a city on a desert, which is useful because I'm sure I'll be building a city on a desert. Because if you didn't know, the farther away tile you're placing a flag on, trying to claim is from an existing city, the more it costs. So it's useful to place cities down to reduce the cost. But, cities cost a lot of food that you could be spending on tiles, so you kind of have to balance that. We've also gotten some decent quests like money for mountains, some okay ones like food off grasslands and river and stuff, which we don't have too many, but it's okay. We've gotten all right with them. So as you can see now, Babylon has reached the limits of its borders pretty much, and it is just pumping into the desert now. So now it's a bit of a race. I decide to build a city there at my easternmost tile just because it will make all the desert tiles cheaper, like I said, and it will give me a yield for free. I figure Babylon has a bit more research than me, maybe a power tech in desert, so I'd probably lose, so I wanted to solidify my position there first. Also go for a free flag here, just choose the border with blue just so I can have a little bit more security there. And then we go for all the deserts that are close to blue, see if we can win them. I also purchased one desert power, and that way I think I'm looking pretty good. And now we managed to get almost all of them except for the one in the north there, because they had 2 tiles bordering it and we only had 1. So therefore we must have had the same power tech, which is 1. We also on this turn really nicely managed to pick up the second money yield for desert, which means our troops have half movement cost, which is great. So I decide to coincidentally buy an army that turn. I stick it in the north where it's attacking 3 tiles of Babylon. Pretty good. I also make sure to spend 5 gold on power because it gives my troop 1 extra power this turn. That's something that a lot of people sometimes forget. You don't want to have just enough money to buy your army. You also want to have a little bit more to spend on power because it makes them a hell of a lot more efficient. Unfortunately, Babylon has a few armies already. They're having no problem to come redeploy. But I spend some food growing my city, makes it a bit stronger. I spend a bit on desert, but you still see, oh, they're a little bit stronger than me. So, I have to be careful. So I decide to spend a bit more on power. We've also almost run out of desert. Babylon had so much more food than me. They were able to really expand quickly, but we do definitely have a nice chunk. And the one thing that we don't have is a triple front war. Babylon is having trouble from green. They're having trouble from Assyria. They're having trouble from me. And you know what? Make that quadruple because blue in the top left is also on them. And as a result of that, they just run away from my little army because they have bigger fish to fry. So I'm able to keep pressing attack. And then you see here, they come back. But they're not really sticking around long enough to actually capture tiles because if you see against the green border, they're really getting pressured by the other civs. With my research now, I have all of the mountain tile yields and desert yields, so I don't really need to spend on anything else. Like I could spend 20 science on a plain tech and give me, 3 more science per turn or something with my couple grasslands, but it doesn't matter. So instead, I'm spending all of my money on desert power techs, because if you look at my map, that's pretty much where all the combat is going to be happening. I'm also spending my money on armies. We've got our power waste up to 1 below the max, and that's just because if the power quest comes out, I want to be able to have it because that power cost reduction really is nice. And so I'm just spending my money on armies. We've got the techs we want. We've got the power waste we want. So we're actually in a really good spot. A lot of times I find what happens is you kind of have to go to war just a little bit before you're ready, and then it puts you in a tough spot because you need yields, but you have to spend it on power tech, or you need to buy more armies, but what you really need to be doing is saving up for another army or your power waste tech, and it can get rough. But here we're in pretty much a perfect situation. And another thing is you don't want to spend too much money on your power. If you're always spending 100%, you're never going to be saving up enough money to buy more armies and things like that. And you'll also see, I took a look at the quest screen because you'll see there's a couple civs now that are starting to get some crowns. You can see here also they're pressuring me on the left, so I upgrade my city, I throw an army up there, and I redeploy just a little bit so I'm nice and safe because I don't really feel like losing territory to Babylon. I think I should be the one taking all of their territory. So we start having a scuffle with blue here now up in the north, but it's kind of inadvertently. They're trying to attack Babylon, but it's okay. I'm pretty strong. And so now the tactic is buy armies, spread it all along Babylon's borders, and be attacking them in too many places that they can't bounce their troops around and stop me from capturing it because I want those desert plains because they're easy to capture. I have a ton of power on them now and they give me a good yield, and that's really all I can take. I don't really want to fight blue because they can fight me on a unified front, whereas Babylon, as we've mentioned, is fighting everybody. We get a really sweet split here. We actually separate Babylon from 4 of their tiles, which makes it super easy for me to place flags on and conquer all of those. So that's a nice little boost to my economy. And we're making some good progress all along their flanks, really. And we haven't lost any important tiles, which I would define as the mountain tiles north of our first town there. We're holding them off with just 1 soldier, no problem. We also have one of our armies in a good spot, and so we managed to capture an empty tile for us instead of red, and we get the power tech that we want. And I do this in an interesting way there. I actually have another quest, which is double my city population and I get to reduce a waste for free. And the most expensive waste is power waste. So I actually save, basically 100 crowns or gold, whatever. And then because I do that, I complete the second quest, which makes my power cheaper. So I thought that was really slick and I enjoyed that. We get a huge take there, 4 or 5 territories from Babylon, really nice. And then you'll see they've started throwing some cities up to try and stop me, but it's not going to be enough. We've got 5 armies now. We just bought another one this turn. We're able to spend lots on power. Our power waste is looking good. We're not really under threat anywhere. Although, unfortunately, because we were so focused on other people, Reds racked up a lot of crowns and Blue took a few from our mountains up there in the north. And what you'll see is what gives you the most crowns and is easy to achieve is armies. If you get 9 of them, you get 3 crowns. So, as a result of that, I am prioritizing buying armies. I want to get those. And then beyond that, I think I can get to maybe the city population. I can save up $300, no problem. But you just got to start working towards the hard ones, like buying an army every turn, because that's super expensive. You can see I'm spending money on my power. I don't really want to give ground. I want to keep taking it, because if I can get to 90 tiles, that will also help me give me, I think, two crowns, which will be useful as well, because you need 7 to win once again. You can see Reds kind of bouncing up and down because they have the land, they have power, and they have the city population. What they don't have is the really expensive one, the fleets. They're, I believe, still at 6, just like I am, or maybe even 5. So we have a bit of a head start that way. However, they're pretty close to getting 5 captured cities, which would give them another 3 crowns. So it's a little dicey. I'm not really expecting to win at this point. I'm starting to be attacked by Red. You can see they're taking some of my territory. Blue's attacking me as well. Babylon's easy to grab territory is all gone. And I'm not entirely sure. And you can see I have no crowns at the moment. Assyria has 6. They're 1 away from winning. So I'm just kind of, puttering away. I figure I'll keep buying my army a turn or every second turn if I can afford it. We do actually keep taking territory, like from Babylon there, they have no army to defend it, so that's an easy take. We have a fat ton of power technology. We managed to take our mountain tiles back from Blue. We capture that city from Babylon, which means that we're able to claim some tiles. I make sure to move a soldier up to ensure that I get the territory that I deserve. And we're at 7 armies right now. With that makes it 8. So we're actually just 1 away from getting 3 crowns. And we already have a crown, I believe, from having our at least 90 tiles. We also have a pretty fat amount of power, but surprisingly so does Green. They don't have nearly as much territory. Well, I guess it's pretty similar, but I'm just impressed that they're able to have that much power. We also managed to threaten 8 territories at once, so we get a free power tech, so we're able to get another one on Desert, which at this point is like 500 research or something crazy. Also make sure, again, don't spend too much because I want to have lots of gold to be able to buy armies. And at this point I'm like, wow, kind of crazy that Red hasn't won yet. They've been sitting at 6 crowns. What do they have? And you can see they're at 8 armies. So I figure, oh man, they're going to win next turn. That's it. There's nothing I can really do about it. Nonetheless, I move my armies, keep deploying. I also have 8. And there's the 9th one. Nope, not quite. And there you go. So we have the 9 armies, like I said. So there's 3 crowns. I think we have 2 for population space. And then I realize, wait a second, I can win next turn. I have my 90 spaces. I have my 3 armies. That's 5. I just need 2 more. What can I do? What can I do? And I see power technology. I only need 1 more. And wealth. I just need $10 more. So I just purchase a random cheap one, planes, and I just realized if I just save up my money and don't spend too much and get over 300, I'll hit 7 crowns. So on the off chance Assyria doesn't buy another army, I'll win. And that's exactly what happened. It really caught me off guard, but I'm really glad I won on this. You can see I just focused on expanding, playing smart, and I guess Assyria was fighting too much, so I had to spend too much on power. Great game. Thanks for watching.